Hey guys and gals, it's another modern classic, at least in my book. It's the Heavy Electronics Grind Fuzz. I'll play for a second and then we'll get into it. Here's my clean tone. Okay, so that's one of my favorite settings on this pedal. The fact that you can play chords on a fuzz pedal is always a glorious thing. Let me tell you a little bit about what I know about this pedal. I've had this for a long time, and it has come in handy many, many times. Fuzz pedals in general are susceptible or impacted greatly by whatever you are sending that pedal into. I just have a basic clean amp dialed up right now, and it's not quite as scooped as like a Fender Twin or something. It's got a little more mid-range to it, but so you may want to think about things like that when you're thinking about fuzz pedals. But this thing has always been really special in my book. It's got a lot of give to it, which is always really fun with the fuzz pedal. That is really dictated by this little knob right here, which is the bias for the clipping circuits. So I have it all the way back, which would be, I guess, a low bias. So you're getting a lot of sag. And let's dial that up to where there's less sag. So I guess I'm not the best at doing this. Okay, so the bias is going to be all the way up now. Hey, I did it. And we're going to turn the level down a little bit. I suppose with the bias all the way up, it's a little brighter. Yeah, you just a little different kind of quality to the tone, but not too, I mean, a lot of these differences are pretty subtle. I'm going to go ahead and flip the swell switch. And as far as I understand it, this kind of has a little bit of a ducking. That's how I've always heard it on this pedal. So let's see if we can get that to happen. If I hit it hard. So with the swell switch engaged, you'd probably have to turn the level back up a little bit. Again, these are subtle differences. Let's see if we bring the bias back down, if the swell switch has even more of an effect. I would say yes. So here, switch off. So we're getting more bottom end coming through with the switch turned off. With the swell switch turned on, there's sort of a narrowing of bandwidth in a great way. So I'm going to keep taking the bias down. Let's see how squashy and squishy we can get this thing to be. Turn the gain up a little bit. now we're getting pretty strangled in a great way. I'm going to take that swell back down. Let's bring the gain up. Okay, so as you can hear, when you bring that gain up in the circuit, that also affects how much bias alteration you want to do. So I'm not gonna bias it all the way low and bring it back up. Let's kind of hear where we're at in terms of collapsing. Okay, so that thing's really folding up and collapsing. Let's put the swell switch back in. So what I would say with that is that the swell switch actually kind of brings it back under control a little bit, but then offers this kind of sustain, endless wall of sound thing that's happening. Let's take the swell switch off again. Again, that's into a clean amp. Pretty amazing stuff from these guys, and I can say as you stack it into different effects on your board or different amps, you're really attacking whatever comes after it with this really chewy, you know, sort of voltage starved kind of sound, which I personally think is very usable in certain circumstances, especially for lead work, I would say, just with the amount of sustain that it brings in. One thing I haven't done, I don't think, is I'm going to take that bias all the way back down and just crank the pedal here. Okay, thanks for hanging out. If you can find one of these, pick it up. I love it.